I just wanna be happy.
I'm gonna stop now.
Dun, 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 dun.
Into today's video.
Let's go. There's a global pandemic. I'm just gonna drink out of my water bottle. Like, honestly.
In previous episodes, I've drank, okay?
Also, can you like shoot from the ground a little bit? A lot of people are saying I look short. So maybe like shoot from like down here. Yeah. Alright, so we're starting with engine modification. You think they're gonna hear that bird in the background?
I have my mic.
Do you have something so we can... We're gonna start this video like we're in the 90s. Alright, so you want to modify a Nissan 370Z or 350Z. A couple months ago I made that so you want to buy 370Z, 350Z video, and a lot of you loved it. I basically went over everything you should look for when buying the car. Today, you already bought the car or you want to buy the car and you're trying to see if you modify it or you're trying to see how to modify it. So if you're new here, my name is Danny. Be sure to hit that subscribe. We're trying to get to 100K by the end of the year. I make awesome Z videos. I have this 370Z and a 300ZX, so join the journey and alright, let's get into it. Brian, if you want to follow me, we're going to start off with performance mods and horsepower stuff. Does it look good?
Yeah.
If you didn't know already, this car out of the factory comes with 332 horsepower to the crank, and the Nismo comes with 350 horsepower to the crank. Obviously, this is not to the wheel, so when you throw it on a dyno, completely stock, it hits from like 280 to the wheels to about 300 to the wheels if you're lucky. So this is how you're gonna make your 3.7 V6 fast. I just realized since we have so much to cover, I'm gonna kind of zoom through things, but I'm not gonna skip anything. So basically on the engine, the first mod you should do...
It's not that one.
Nice Honda, dude. You can either get 2.5-inch intakes, which is what I basically have. These intakes you do not need to tune right after, or you can go with the 3-inch variant, which if you go with 3-inch intakes, you do have to tune the car right after, or it's just gonna run funky and you don't want to kind of risk messing up your engine before the big tuning day, but we're not there yet. First things for horsepower you should definitely do is long tube intakes, but if you do not have money for the long tube intakes, you can actually just go with the stock air boxes, which honestly are very good, and switch out the filters that are inside for the K&N filters. So if you're gonna go for a 2.5-inch intakes, very good brands out there, just real quick, Stillen, Z1, those are two very good ones, and there's a couple out there, but those are the two most known ones. And then if you're gonna go for the 3-inch intakes, I know Limp Mode Tuning, my tuner, makes really good ones. Admin Tuning, Takeda. Alright, there's a script.
Ready?
Yeah, can you hold the script right there?
Yeah, I got it.
So after that, you're gonna go with the upper intake manifold and lower intake manifold. Is that good? These are not extremely popular, but if you're trying to squeeze as much horsepower as possible out of this engine, definitely recommend this. So basically, the upper manifold is a ported upper manifold. This plastic thing here, companies go ahead, you send yours, they kind of open up the holes a little better or a little bigger, and then they give it back to you, so it's ported. And then the bottom intake manifold as well. I know Z1 Motorsports sells both of those for like a pretty good price, so yeah, it's honestly pretty much all you can do up here. That's what sucks about having an NA engine. Intakes, upper manifold, lower manifold, and you're good to go. Alright, so next up, yes, we're gonna talk about exhaust. The Z out of factory, it sounds pretty beefy, but it's not that loud. I remember when I first bought it, I was freaking out because the engine sounded so cool, but yeah, honestly, it's not that loud, so time for an exhaust. Let's start from the top and go all the way down. So up here, coming out of the engine, you got headers, so you can either go the route of the headers, or you can go test pipes. Me personally, I have on test pipes, which test pipes are basically these little 2.5-inch to 3-inch pipes that connect to the header and to the rest of the exhaust, and that basically gets rid of your cats. So that's definitely a must if you want big fire, if you want big flames. Or you can also go with high flow cats, which the name says it all. It is a high flow cat. I went with 2.5 non-resonated test pipes just because I like loud, and I guess I'm a racer. So if you do not want to get test pipes and you want to go ahead and do full-on headers, the amount of work you have to go through for the sound, that doesn't really change that much. I've heard a Z with headers. And yes, it's a noticeable sound, but in reality, for me, the amount of time it takes to do and how much it costs to do, I'd rather just go with test pipes. Yeah, but if you do want to go headers, it's a really lengthy process, and the headers cost from like $800 to like $1,200. Or you can go test pipes, which is like $120 to like $300. Oh, is that a Z? Once you decide if you're gonna go test pipes or headers, then you got the Y pipe. If you buy a full-on exhaust, it should come with a Y pipe, but if it doesn't, you're gonna have to go look for Y pipes online. Usually they're 2.5 inch. This pipe connects to the headers or test pipes. So after the Y pipe, you can either go single exit, which, haha, we got the Tomei, so you can either go Tomei ISR, or if you really can't afford just going a full exhaust, you can also just get a muffler delete, which is very cheap, and that's what I had at first. I'm gonna put a clip right now. Those aren't too bad. Muffler deletes with test pipes are really underrated on Z's. They actually sound pretty good. So that's pretty much for exhaust. It's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. So now that you got your intakes and you figure out your exhaust, doesn't matter what route you're gonna go. So now you should be making 295 to 305 horsepower to the wheels. And now that you have that done, it is time for a tune. So a tune in this car is everything. Dude, what the frick is this? Brian, did you put this in are you like sabotaging this video?
That was not me.
There's tons of tuners out there, and it is what wakes your car up, and you get so many awesome modes. Yeah, with a bad tuner, you're not gonna get that much potential out of the car. With a good tuner, you're gonna be spanking V8s. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, basically a lot of good tuners out there. I'm gonna name them real quick. Late Mode Tuning, I'm tuned by them. Admin Tuning, Ars Enthalpy, Miami Z Parts, Saul Nights, and many more. Yeah, tune, I made a whole video on if you want to tune your car, how much it costs and everything. I'm gonna link that in the description. But now with a tune, you should be making from 320 horsepower to the wheels to like 340 to the wheels. Just depends on all the mods you do. So that's pretty much the cap for an Nissan 370Z, sadly. So after the tune, your car's gonna be probably overheating. So I definitely recommend like a Mishimoto radiator as well as an oil cooler. One thing that I learned, and this is why I don't have an oil cooler, is with the oil that Nissan recommends, which is ester oil, my car is always at high temps. But I switched to Mobil 1 5W30, and my car is never overheated, never high temps. And that could definitely save you money on things like oil coolers or things like that. You got horsepower, you're popping loud, you're shooting flames, you got big bangs. Now your cab, what are you gonna do? This is where the spoolie boys come in. Brian doesn't want to do his job and hold the scripts.
So you're gonna talk about something you don't have yet?
Dude, you're right, Brian, you're right. You're happy now that he's making me look bad? Okay. So now it is time for a turbo kit or a supercharger kit. So let's go real quick. Turbo kits, there's so many out there, but basically you can either have a top mount, you can have a twin turbo which go right under there, a mid mount which goes right next to the transmission, or this one's really interesting, I like it a lot. You can have a rear mount, but the thing with the rear mount is you gotta get rid of the Tomei, which sucks, but honestly the turbo kit just really depends on what you want to do. I think twin turbos have a little less lag, but if you do rear mount and you play with the piping correctly and you buy the right turbo, there isn't really that much lag, so it doesn't really make a difference. But with a turbo, you're gonna be pushing between 400 to 650 horsepower to the wheels. To the wheels, Brian. To the wheels. Do you know how fast that is, dude? Like, I'll be scared to drive it. Oh, we have a 1,000 horsepower 350Z. That's gonna be crazy. But if you do not like turbo kits and turbo lag, you can always go supercharger. Honestly, the only supercharger on the market that I know of that is very good, don't quote me on that, it's a Stirling supercharger. With a supercharger, you won't push as much horsepower unless you do a couple upgrades like a ball bearing and also air-to-air Top Gun Z. But you should be pushing about 350 to the wheel to like 500, 600 to the wheel. It's a very big gap, but you can go really reservative. Is that a word? Reservative? Or you can just go all out full send, freaking just. So you got the performance, but we gotta talk about cosmetics. Actually, no, we're not there yet. I messed up. So now you're pushing like 650 to the wheel. Your exhaust sounds amazing. Your car's just incredible, but it looks like every other Z. We're not there yet though. You also need a suspension, so we're gonna talk about that.
That was good. That was good.
That was good, right? Dude, that was...
You baited them. You were like.
All right. So suspension wise, this car handles incredible in coilovers. How do I know? I don't, because I'm on springs. But I heard that it sounds incredible. So you can either go coilovers, and just make the handling much better, or you can go springs, which does improve the handling. And as you can see, my car's pretty low. Springs go for about $200 to like $400. Coilovers like $500 to $1,000. Coilovers are adjustable. You can adjust the height. Springs, you're low forever. So if you don't like being this low, then someone text me. That's crazy, bro.
Well, you're low forever.
So if you do not want springs or coilovers, you can always go with bags. Bag is a mechanism where right down there where the spring would go, you put bags, and then there's a strut with a bunch of airlines going across the car. Really bad explanation, I know. But basically, with a remote inside the car, you control the height level, go all the way down slammed or all the way up. That wasn't for us, but now they got coilovers. It's time to get something that a lot of people don't get, including myself. I feel like everything I'm saying here I don't have. And that thing that I'm talking about, like I said, is really underrated, but it's sway bars. Front and rear sway bars. Or I heard if you can't afford both, just get the front sway bars and they're gonna be much better. Sway bars basically go like across the car. Like there's one like up here and then there's one like over here. It basically helps the handling and the car just becomes much more stiff. So that's definitely gonna help stiffen up your suspension, especially when you're pushing that much horsepower down. So now your car handles perfectly. You're shooting massive flames. You're just banging gears, beating every V8, beating GTRs, beating Lambos. So let's talk about cosmetics. But honestly, there's so much you can do to this car that I don't even know where to start. I don't even think I'm gonna talk about everything. I'm just gonna give you like a quick overview, kind of give you some hints and ideas on what to do to the car. But first, let's start off with this. So if you don't buy a Nismo because they cost so much and you have a base model, you can actually put Nismo bumpers in your base model and it just makes the car look incredible. And it does not cost. What is that, bro?
It's a cost. What's a cost, bro?
And it does not cost as much as you think. I actually made a full video on it, how much everything costs. Link in the description. Go watch it. And also, this actually came out a couple months ago. I made an install on it, but you can actually buy aftermarket headlights for the 370Z, and they look completely different than the OEM. Something else really popular, carbon fiber fenders. I don't need to explain them. Shout out to Alliance Carbon. Get these fenders. Link in the description. Oh, look at Brian getting all those shots, dude. I'm not gonna talk too much about what wheels fit or don't fit. I'm gonna put my wheel specs. You wanna come down here real quick, show them. I'm gonna put the wheel specs on the screen right now, as well as the name of the wheels. That should kind of give you an idea what fits, what doesn't, what route you should go. Also, for cosmetics, if you're into lighting, hit up Auto Tune Customs on Instagram. He made these incredible custom taillights for the car. Brian, your shots are just incredible. Incredible.
Thank you, buddy.
Big Wang Gang, not much to say about that. Down here, we got a diffuser from Street Arrow. Little carbon fiber pieces, from Alliance Carbon. But honestly, the cosmetics scene on these cars, just the aftermarket scene on these cars, it's like way too big. On 350Zs, 370Zs, everything. So I literally cannot touch too much on it. Just know that if you're buying this car and you want to modify it, the choices you have, it's incredible. Let's talk about the interior. Brom seats, huge shout out to them, big sponsor of the channel. We did this incredible interior stitching, which looks pretty sick, goes with the seats. Custom shift knob, carbon fiber steering wheel, love it. 6-point harness bar for the 6-point harness. All right, with that said though, we're gonna go ahead and end off today's video. That's pretty much sort of everything you need to know if you're modifying a 350Z, 370Z. If you guys are new here, like I said, leave a big thumbs up, subscribe, and share this video with somebody, like your grandma. That's a good choice.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, she might want to get one, so just share it with your grandma, maybe like your aunt or something.
Yeah, come on, yeah. Don't be selfish. Don't be selfish.
Exactly, don't be selfish. Peace out. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always on this channel, we say, hasta luego. How much is that right in the face?